everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am joined by Jen from Primrose, Kitten here on YouTube. She also does lots of educational content, but more for sort of GCSE A-level students. One of my absolute favourites videos of yours is the whole maths GCSE.
The whole of GCSE maths
in 2 hours.
Yeah, it took me quite a long time to make that video, much more than 2 hours.
I've written down 10 top tips, and tip number 1 to tip number 5 is on Jen's channel, so go and check that out. The link will be in the description bar down below. And tip number 6 to tip number 10 we will be discussing today. So hopefully stay tuned, and don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up and subscribe, and go to Jen's channel, and please go subscribe to her as well if you haven't already. Modify your revision style to make yourself more engaged. So actively revise, actively recall information, as opposed to just reading textbooks and dense information. Especially when you're fasting, you're probably tired, you're probably, hungry and thirsty. The last thing you want to do is sit down, open a textbook and read chunks of information. So find ways of revising that are quick, fast, active and engaging. What methods do you know that are?
So just sitting there reading a textbook, sitting there colouring in, because it is colouring in a revision guide, isn't good revision. Flashcards, mind maps, covering up example or like worked answers and then trying to work out the answer yourself. This is all brilliant, brilliant stuff that you can be doing for revision.
This will just keep you engaged, and it just means that you won't get tired, you won't get bored, and you can keep on going a bit longer. Okay, so my 7th tip is to cut out caffeine. So coffee, tea, anything caffeinated, just cut it out completely. This is a month where you obviously can't drink during the day. If you are drinking lots of coffee in the time where you can drink, you will suffer from withdrawal effects, and you'll end up feeling more, you'll have headaches, you'll feel more tired than you did before. So just cut it out completely and try to drink more water, stay hydrated. That was a tip that we mentioned in your video previously.
Not the fake high that caffeine gives you, because you will just...
Yeah, like coconut water is really good.
Nice.
Watermelon juice, any juices that have high water content, I think, are quite good. My 8th tip is to revise away from home. So away from the kitchen, where you can't smell your mother's food and you are in a distraction-free zone, and your bed is not in a space where you can just jump into it. So go to the library, go to school. I know in half term and holidays a lot of schools are open. Go to school, go to someone else's house, and revise with friends as well. So you're kind of you're all in the same zone. You can motivate each other, you can ideally sort of push each other to do better.
That's great advice. I know when I was doing, especially for my GCSEs and A-levels, our local library just had desks upstairs, and our maths class just used to have a desk where every day we would turn up, various different number of people would turn up, and it's kind of like you weren't allowed to eat or drink in the library, you weren't allowed your phones in the library, so it's kind of like, we went there as kind of like, self-imposing, like that we can't eat, drink. But also you were there with all your friends, so if you did have a problem, you could just ask the person next to you.
So my 9th tip is to have very targeted revision goals and plans. So when you start the day and you want to sit down, you want to start revising, have a specific goal. So let's say you're revising maths, for example. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to do some maths today. What are you going to do? What topic are you going to focus on? What are you going to exactly do to be able to revise? So are you making flashcards? Are you revising flashcards? Are you doing exam papers? And have that printed out and ready for you. So when you get to the library or you get to your desk, you can just go. Like I said in the previous video, sleep is something that you're quite deficient of. So by making sure that you maximize every moment, then you can maximize the amount of sleep you get as well. So just being able to balance that, and knowing that this is my goal, this is what I want to achieve today, and being able to achieve that.
Exactly, because if you sit down and say I want to revise maths, like you said, well, that's quite a big topic.
Huge.
That is a lot of work to do. But if you maybe spend 10 minutes the day before planning what you're going to do the next day, printing out papers so that they're ready for you, you get up, you start your revision, and you do kind of like, I'm going to do this maths paper when you're awake, when you're alert, and then maybe towards the end of the day when you're a little bit more sluggish, when you're not so awake and alert, you can start preparing, printing stuff out for the next day.
My last tip is actually, well, it's not necessarily a revision tip, but it's a tip to help you with breathing and anxiety and stress. And this is a method called the Wim Hof method. Now I'll link him down below. There's a video that I use when I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed sometimes and I just need a kind of pick me up without necessarily eating or drinking something. And this consists of breathing and inhaling lots of air really quickly, so you're kind of hyper oxygenating yourself, but then you're also exhaling and then you hold your breath. So by doing this, you've increased the amount of concentration of oxygen in your brain, which is obviously really good, and then you've just taken all the carbon dioxide out, which is toxic, and then you're starving your brain. So this method is shown to be really good for lots of different health reasons, so like immunity and other kind of health issues. But in terms of what would be useful for you is for when you're rising and you might feel a bit overwhelmed, a bit stressed out, a bit tired. Doing this method gives you a natural high. So what I do is when I do this, I just feel really kind of lightheaded and at first a bit kind of dizzy. But it's a good dizzy. It's because my brain has been given all this oxygen. When we breathe normally, we take very shallow breaths. So we breathe through our nose and it just doesn't really go further than here. It's quite small breaths. Yeah, but look at how a baby breathes. When a baby breathes, you see its stomach expanding because it's actually breathing all the way down there. Over time, as we get older, we learn to get lazy, essentially, and we just start taking really deep, like shallow breaths that don't actually go all the way around in our body, and we end up with air in our body that hasn't actually left or come in, it's just there. So yeah, if you feel stressed out, nervous, anxious, tired, by doing this you wake up. Part 2 to his method is actually taking a cold shower as well. I'm yet to get to that stage. My husband does though. I am not there yet. 2-3 minutes to do it. You can do it in the library. It's not noisy, it's not loud. I think it's a great method, so I highly recommend that as well.
I am a big fan of, you know, habitually incorporating breathing exercises into your revision. And like you mentioned, doing it in the library.
Yeah.
If you've got a 2-hour exam, which you've got to sit through, you know, some of those essay ones at A-level are really, really long. Nobody's going to notice if you do this for 2 minutes in the middle of an exam, and it will just really perk you up.
Yeah, it does. It really has a big effect. I was skeptical for a long time. My husband's been doing it for a while, and he's always like, join me, and I kind of just laughed it off. But I did it once, and I was shocked at the impact. So yeah, I would highly recommend it, especially if you can't eat or drink. It's a great method of just kind of re-energizing yourself really quickly. Yeah, that's my top 10 tips. Like I said, 5 of them are on Jen's channel, so please go and check those out. Hopefully these tips help you. They're not groundbreaking tips, but hopefully they do help you think a bit more about how you revise and how you incorporate your revision into your fasting and into the month. It is a long month. The month is important, but your exams are also super important.
Good luck for your exams, guys. I've got loads of stuff for you over on my channel. We are going to be supporting you through this every single step of the way.